Hello there, and welcome to another video. In this video, I would be doing a battery replacement for this 2020 M1 MacBook Pro. Now, I have been using this laptop for the past 3 years now, and it has been a really wonderful tool. Right? I have used it like every day. It's always plugged in, and this is really not a big problem because battery battery life would always go down, right? And it takes about 1000 charge cycles before your battery would typically need replacement, and that is usually around 3 years, right? So mine started showing signs. One of the main signs I noticed started showing signs, let's say like last month, and I was kind of, it's not bad yet, but eventually it just became worse. Like all of a sudden, so right now I can't even like unplug it and have it on, right? It doesn't hold a charge at all, right? But the first sign I got was in my notifications, like on my notification tray, on the battery option, I started seeing this message, um, service recommended, right? It wasn't very descriptive. So I checked it out, and typically when I opened it, it was still showing like the battery life still had like maximum capacity of 60%, but it's not holding any charge at all. I turned off some settings, tried changing up a few things to see if it will come up, nothing. And after like some research, I discovered that I need a new battery, which I feel like the notification could have just said change battery, like something more helpful, not like service recommended. Service recommended can be anything, but since it's coming from the battery options, I feel like it's still a bit descriptive. So that's one. And then my battery also started like showing this X on it, so it wasn't holding any charge. Now it's showing an X. It's not like even um, giving me any response. So a quick review on this laptop over 3 years. I would say this laptop has aged really well, as typical with all um, Apple products, right? It has really aged well, and I still run a bunch of apps on it. I use Figma, Illustrator, Photoshop, Toonly, um, Visual Studio Code, Cursor, a bunch of other stuff, right? And it still runs very well. It is still smooth. I love the screen. Like it gives you this true color. It has this like retina screen, and I love it, right? When I design, I see things exactly the color I want to see it, and that has been really helpful for me. So, without much talk, let's get right into the teardown. Today, I'll be using my iFixit toolkit. So, I am not a certified repairman, but I have been doing it for a very long time, and like I've been experimenting with my devices, and for that reason, I have a general rule to always fix my devices. Now, if any of my devices would ever get to a point where I can't fix it, then I just archive it, right? It has really done its best at that point, right? But I'm pretty confident in my ability to do this, and yeah, let's jump right in. All right, so let's jump right into the teardown. Um, so this laptop is protected by skin from D brand. I got this immediately. I got the laptop. So first we gotta like first start by peeling off. We want to expose them and proceed to taking off the. So we have 4 screws at the bottom here and 2 at the back, right? You want to be careful with screws in general because like you want to like carefully organize them. So All right. So I am using my iFixit toolkit, and it comes with pretty much everything from screwdrivers to pry tools to like Jimmy tools, right? I love it. It helps me like tackle hardware projects like this very easily. And so what I'm doing right now is I am paying attention to the heights, right? So one thing you would notice is they are not the same, right? So you want to make sure you group them very well so that when you're like putting things back, you don't mix things up, right? You know best how to organize them, but you want to make sure that they are organized because you don't want to make mistakes when like putting things back together, right? All right. Taking a pry tool. Just gonna go around it, you know. Just release it. Get another one. It's a little bit hard, but you don't need to be scared when you like pry it open, right? You hear that snap, you know, like things are going well. It's not all the time you hear snaps that things are going well though, so you have to be careful. You always have to like look at it and see if this is actually unusually hard, but I am trying to make sure. Yeah, I think I got it. All right. So one thing I noticed when I first opened this up, right? It's like now everything is out, right? Like all the screws are out, but if I try lifting the side up, it doesn't open. Like it doesn't open easily, right? So it has these latches at the back here, like it's um, hooks into the the frame of the laptop. So what I noticed worked well for me is to just like pull it forward gently, right? Just like that, and it comes right off. So this is what I was talking about. It has this like hooks. I don't know if you could see this well. So it has these hooks that just enters into the frame of the laptop, keeping it sturdy. I kind of like the way this is built. It's easy to repair, right? So repairability, I give it like a big thumbs up for that one. I'm gonna just push this to the side. Right, so this is what we'll be taking out today. And yeah, we have a replacement. I got this from Computer Village here in Lagos, and this cost about 98,000 plus shipping, right, to my location. And yes, so this is what we'll be replacing with. It comes with two screwdrivers for all the nuts you'll be like taking off the PC. So you want to like pay notes to that, but I do have my screwdrivers here, so we won't be using this, right? I'm just gonna set this aside for when we're ready for it and proceed with taking out the battery. So first we want to take out this screw. I see screws up here. We want to take this out. I see screws here also. We want to take that out as well. So let's get started. This is slightly bigger, so I want to set this aside and look for a different size. That's also big. So excuse me if I'm not getting everything perfectly. I don't do repair full time, right? So it's just something I do in my spare time. So I'm just showing you how easy it is or might be to repair if you decide to repair it on your own. Right? So I want to still continue grouping this like screws. I don't want to mix them up like ever. Right? You want to pay a lot of attention to where you're taking them out from because you'll be putting everything back. And you don't want to be the one explaining that you don't know where it goes to. Right? This comes out. It's just like a piece protecting this connector. Gonna keep it one side, keep it close to the screws so we don't miss it. Right? And then I'm gonna gently pull this up. All right. I call that a success. I'm gonna pull it back up because this entire battery is gonna be going out. So we wanna keep this safe. I wanna use something to hold it down. So okay, it's not really obstructing, right? I'm moving on to the next screws, next set of screws. I wanna take this one out. Still making sure to group them properly. Especially if like you're not a full-time repair person, you don't want to make like small mistakes like this and not know exactly where the problem is coming from, right? So next up, we want to take this ribbon out, and it doesn't look difficult, so I'm just gonna pick something should be good for the job. All right, that's done. You still see some screws, so one here and another one here. So we're just going to take that out gently. Why still grouping it? Of course, because why not? Then another one here. And with that, the battery connector comes off. So I'm just going to lift this up, right? So now we have this connector out. We want to go ahead and pry the battery out, right? This is going to be the hardest task, right? But it's also going to be the most fun for me. We generally want to use something soft. I'm using this because I don't want to damage it. Like it anyway. So I'm just going to take this. Okay. So I just made mistake number one. I punctured it. This is not a good fit. Oh. Still prying this open. You know, sometimes brute force is still always the best way. Trust me. All right. I don't think anyone else could use this battery when we're done. So let's leave it like that there. Next up is this guy. All right. So we're gonna do the same thing, use the same tools, and hopefully get the same result. All right. So I'm getting the general trick of this, and it simply involves poking. All right. So right now I'm just cutting the glue from underneath it. Okay. The worst happened, and we blew a battery, and unfortunately it affected our screen. So here's the damage. I guess it could have been avoided if I had thought fast enough. Of course, heat transfer. And I am very confident it will still be working, but we wouldn't know until we check it. Right? This entire area looks pretty damaged. Ugh. Let's allow it cool down a little before we continue. Disaster struck, and this side of the battery just went haywire on me, and as you can see, I'm still trying to like clean off the burnt battery residue, right, that was on it. I'm just going to be very careful with this. All right, it already happened. There's no need to fuss about it. So this is a general rule. This is why you want to give an experienced technician, right? Things like this will happen. They happen on a regular basis, right? So you want to give someone that is experienced at dealing with this. For me, I'm experienced at handling things like this, right? I'm not happy about it, but it already happened, right? There's nothing we could do about it. We just need to continue. And I'm probably using like the wrong things to actually take care of it right now, but I am doing the best I can with what I have. Okay, so with what happened, it is good to say that heat is a very good way to make this easy, because immediately it went ablaze, it became very easy to come off, right? And now we want to do the same for the middle one and finish this, the whole replacement right? Now we just have the middle one to go, and then we're going to clean off all this residue and, you know, position the camera well so we can see it. Okay, so this is the one that went ablaze. This one was correctly removed, and now we have to tackle this one. All right. So one thing I noticed that I would have done better is when it went ablaze, to open the screen. So let's say you're in a situation like this for next time, right? Opening the laptop. This is aluminum, so it's steady, right? But your screen, you see, it's made of plastic, and it gave way basically. So we would have to do a screen replacement video very soon, right? Catch you on that one. Let's hope we don't roast anything on that video as well. All right, let's finish up this. So the mistake I made was using this, right? Metal don't work well with batteries. It will poke it and it will combust. There's no need to try it. I already made the mistake, so let's not make that mistake again. We'll be using just this. Yes, it's going to be difficult, but it is all we have available to us. That wouldn't send those to the hospital. This is already giving me good signs, right? This is already giving me very good signs. Like it will come off pretty gently. But I'm already hearing pokes, right? So I want to be careful as well. Not too much force. All right, I think we're off to a good start with this one. Gently pushing and prying at the same time. You got to give Apple ups on this one, right? They use really good glue. They always say experience is the best teacher, right? So look into it a little, see what's left. Okay, almost there. You All right, we got it. So I don't think this changes anything for me because the goal is to repair my computers, right? My tech. And it's things like this that, you know, teach you what to do next, what not to do next time. And you want to learn these lessons, right? You want to learn them pretty well and move on. So now we want to clean up all of this, right? I might have to take it out and make sure like it's very clean and then bring it back in and move on to the replacement, right? So see you on that one. Apparently, this tool is all kinds of wrong for this, right? So it's even scratching like the like aluminum case, and I don't want that. I still want my computer to look cool, and I'm done. Right? That was one poorly done. Take out all these ones here. So I'm gonna take this out and have it cleaned up and bring it back and continue with the replacement. I'm just gonna take off all of this. See you when I get that done. All right, so I finally cleaned the side up with the fire accident, and then I left this on because I discovered that this is actually just tape. If you could get the first side out, it peels right off. I wanted to show you that. So yes, I'm gonna be peeling this one as well. Oh, okay. So you got a healthy piece of it up. It just peels right off. Very satisfying, actually. All right. Um, so now we have it all cleaned up, right? We have it all cleaned up, and we just need to install the new battery. And today, that is this guy. So this came with its own like glue that'll be used to hold the battery down. All I have to do is like peel off the side and After installation, peel off the other side and see how that works. Okay. All right. Let's do that. So I'm just gonna peel the side off. Being careful so I don't like damage the connectors that hold, like, that connect the batteries together. All right. You see, like I said, it was tape. Same thing here. It's slowly coming off, but we're just gonna leave it in, and we're going to proceed. We want to make sure we have it settled in the right way. I see this feels like a little bit smaller than the one I had in here before, but shouldn't be that big a deal. So first I'm checking if this, like if the connectors lap, right? Because we're still going to put back our screws. So we want to make sure at least that can enter in. Okay, we want to also check if it is flush to like the, the case itself, and I'm using this as guides. I can peel this off now. All right, so I'm using this as guide, and it is well within the space for it. All right, now we're just gonna put back all the screws we removed. Same way we removed them, and hopefully nothing bad happens. Okay, so first we want to fix this ones, put the 3 screws that we removed from this back in place. We would be needing our screwdrivers for that. The first one I want to replace is, I noticed this one is like specially black. That was the one I removed from this side. Right? Next up is this one. So I am noticing something. This battery doesn't come with something the old one came with. Right? So the old one, oh, I see. You see, that is why I am glad I didn't damage this. So this connector is coming back here. So the new battery didn't come with this, right? So yeah, lucky me. We're gonna be keeping this, removing it. So I think we should just take it off now. All right, now that is this tiny strip. We're gonna keep it aside. We'll keep our important stuff, and then we're gonna keep this aside. All right, we're done with that. Okay, still making sure everything is flush. Still feeling it, making sure it looks good, making sure I did it well. The last one that goes on here will be this guy, right? The big guy. And that is just going to come up to this point. Now, we're putting back the ribbon. Nice. So when putting back ribbon connectors, you want to make sure that it is like very secured inside there, because sometimes they might look secured, but they're not, to be honest. And you don't want to make that mistake, right? And always use the right tool so you wouldn't get into accidents like we had earlier. Just gonna tug it gently to see if it's secured, and that's good. Next up, we're gonna put this one back in. This has something we could use to like hold it and try to push it inside. And I tug it gently again, safe. Touch it, and it's supposed to look like this once we're done, right? And now I'm going to put this back. Yes, I didn't see me removing this, but yeah, it was here. Put this to like cover this entire terminal because of dust and a bunch of other elements that might affect it. So it's safely, like it safeguards the terminal properly. Next, we want to put back this ribbon connector. Okay, so next we want to put back this ribbon connector. I want it to snap the same way it did when we removed it. I don't like touching these things, right? So, I don't know. Personally, don't like fingerprints when like I open up a device or a component, because it just, for me, it makes me feel like it was poorly handled, which is always the case most times, but it shouldn't show, right? It should be minimal at the very least, right? So I'm just like trying to secure the ribbon back into place, checking if everything is like stable, laps properly, and I'll say it does. All right, so moving on. Okay. The moment of truth is almost upon us. Now we could check if it still comes on. And so we did have like some screen damage because of the flame, right? Affected that part. That was what I was saying when, like, if I had known, I would have like opened up the screen, right? But that is experience for another time. Okay. So I'm guessing the battery doesn't have any charge at all inside of it. So I'm gonna plug it in. I feel confident about all right, it comes on. Okay, so we're getting a little blemish here, but it's not something to. So even with like my screen saver up, it is not showing anymore. I can still design with this every day, all day, right? So I'm loving it. This is success. Checking this, checking the mouse pad, like, making sure everything still works with the fire. We don't want to be on the wrong side of this, right? And then one very important thing is it is charging, right? That sound, I haven't been hearing it, and it is showing it is charging, and I'm no longer seeing the. So let's. All right. So now we've confirmed the laptop is still working. All right. After testing it, we want to put back everything. I already replaced the protector for this connector that we removed earlier. That is why it is always important to keep the screws very well so that you're able to like replace it seamlessly, right? So a quick overview, this one caught fire, this one was well removed, this one was well removed, right? So you have to be careful. If you're doing this on your own, you want to make sure you're using the right tools. If you don't have the right tools, you want to give it to an experienced technician because yes, there's high risks of things really going bad, and you don't want that to happen while you're on the job, right? Well, I have a personal rule of always fixing my tech devices, hence while we are doing this experiment, right? So I'm just going to replace the back plate. I want to make sure to do it the same way we removed it earlier. All right, so now we place the back plate on again, making sure to like insert it the way we removed it in the first place, right? And then we press down until we hear the snap to ensure that like the everything is well the joints basically. So now I'm just gonna start putting back the screws to where I got them, making sure to remember their sizing. Like I said, you want to separate the screws so you don't make mistakes when you put them back in. All right, since I organized mine very well, I have a good understanding where every screw came from. Okay, now that's done, we're gonna turn it up and voila, it still comes on. So I would say this is like let's give it a 7, right? We wanted to change the batteries, we did that, we ended up spoiling the screen, which Touch ID still works. It's not so noticeable on the right background, but on like design tools, it can be clearly seen, right? But it's no biggie. It's part of the experience. It's part of the journey. And yeah. So now that we've confirmed that the laptop is still working after a tiny accident, it's not so bad, to be honest. Like I said, the right background, it doesn't even show. You wouldn't even notice. Right, so I'm just gonna go through the battery again. I'm gonna test the charging. Plugging it in now. And yes, I see like the charge indicator showing it's charging. Plug-in adapter. I'm going to check the battery settings. And I'm seeing battery health normal. The service required notification is no longer there. And I'm checking maximum capacity showing at 100. Right? So I'll call this a success. Thank you for staying to the end. So I'll call this a success. Yes, we did have a little accident while we were trying to get it fixed, but we did get it fixed, so that's a win. That'll be all on this video. I will catch you on the next one.